have been asked to say a little about the role of peace ministries. Here towards the end, I had hoped so that everyone here had said their piece, because I think that what I would like to speak about is the organizational role of a Ministry of Peace in your country, which could have all these things inside it. So I started to say I have listened to some of my colleagues, and I think that they are on the way to tell you what could be what could be inside a Ministry of Peace. But the role of a Ministry of Peace differs, of course, from country to country, depending on the strength of civil societies and NGOs like us. I know this because the Minister of Peace, eller Fredsministerium, is a part of GAMIP, which is the International Global Alliance for Ministers of Peace in the world. And we are part of the European branch of this, and it is of course inspired by people who are working towards or already have ministers of peace established in their countries. And this is why I think it's important that we in the Nordic countries also reflect that there are many ways to come to a peace ministry if you want that, and they have many names. They are called departments for culture of peace or department for whatever. And the starting line could be to have disarmament committees in different countries. They are called different things, and I have spoken to my computer this morning to see what do they do when they translate this department. Nedrustning is a word that is used. Also, afrustning is a word that is used. And omrustning is a word that is used. I think you can see the difference, but in English it's all called disarmament. And this brings me to some of the clever things I've heard yesterday, because most of what we in the peace movement is talking about is actually security policy, which, if you look at some of the scientists that I'm leaning against, says this is a Western kind of word for this, whereas peace is normally linked to old Soviet Union wording. So this is important that what I would like to is that we speak about not security policy matters, but peace matters. I have been working with families in relation and with drug addicts, so I came into the peace movement with a clear understanding of what you have just heard. Now, let me go to what I was intended to say. As I said, we participate in the European meetings in GAMIP, and there I am very. We are very inspired by their chairman, Via Meta. He's written a lot about this, on how not to go to war and how to bring peace about. You can look up that. And also another clever guy, Paul Mallet from Center of Ethics and Peace, who is willing to help us, everybody, if we want to establish peace ministries in our countries, or even work with that in a northern upset. We think in i Fredsministerium, we think that a Ministry of Peace is an important part of the Sustainable Goals number 13, which is saying we need strong structures and organization for peace. And you know most of them from UN, OSCE, and whatever. But a peace ministry in any country would be a very strong organization for peace. Let me then, let me then bore you a little with a description of what we are doing, because we have not been able, even though we have lived for 10 years as Fredsministerium, we have not been able to put that on the Danish agenda to have a peace ministry in Denmark. Of course not, as we are a warfaring country, and you know the strength of the people who support that and the strength of us. So, what we have been doing the last 10 years is we have been trying to function as a, this is a very bad word, shadow minister. So, as you are looking at this person, I am sometimes, when I'm out having conversations with a group of young people, they think that when I come from peace ministry, they think I am the peace minister. They wish that I was. But until that happens, we will have to wait for this. And this is, of course, what we're doing. In my country, many also in the peace movement and where are not, have totally forgotten the word Augustin. I'm old enough to have read books from Modstand uden vold, Resistance without violence. When you read that, you think, clever guys. This is Adam Roberts, Jerome Frank, Arne Næss, Gene Sharp, med forord af a very famous Danish pacifist called Schneidermann. And in my country, they would say, everybody would say, I'm not a pacifist, but I am. I'm a member of Aldrig Mere Krig, because I think that we need to consider this when we are talking about what is the role of a ministry of peace. Now, as you know, we are a warfaring country, and I have to look to my papers here. We proposed at this time that Denmark takes out the capacity for attack in their politics and rely on, you know what I mean. Well, we believe that peace researchers, peace organizations and peace activists should be consulted on any relevant issue regarding the foreign policy. And this is, of course, when I say this, it's of course that we think that a minister of peace at some time must be the cornerstone in changing the Danish security and peace policy from a policy of war to a policy of peace. We just heard that this is very important. When I speak about the content of a ministry, I say you should have peace in all politics. Like you would have in gender politics, like you would have in environmental issues, and as you would have in finance. No one would ever dream of putting up suggestions for politics in Denmark without having it go through the finance offices, right? So I thought, well, it's very important. We will have to see what any politics in Denmark should go through the Ministry of Peace to look, will this bring a peace culture or will it bring the other things? Right. It's from the start, when we started 10 years ago in this organization, we had 25 organizations joined there, and we started to have a group working with the portfolio. We thought it would be easy to write down what would be the role of a Ministry of Peace, and where should we put that besides the other governmental ministries. We gave up that. But I just told you why. We in Fredsministerium are working to increase the peace movement's own capacity for understanding what peace is about, and through that build stronger bridges to our politicians and populations on this. And as you all know, we are, someone yesterday said, well, we are the community that is almost invisible. But we will change that. In 2019, there was a momentum also in the Nordic countries about Ministry for Peace, because the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was awarded Nobel Prize for initiating peace talks in many African countries, and was also awarded the Nobel Prize for his efforts. At that time, we put up 2 or 3 meetings with also our Nordic friends. At that time, 2020, we were inspired, very much inspired by Ingalill Bjartjen and the Swedish women working for this in the parliament, and from the Norwegian women, Susanne Urban and Åse Møller from Bergen, who are very eager to have in Norway a peace ministry of Norway in Norway. And also from our Finnish friends, Ulla Kröster and others. This was a great moment in the developing of a Nordic understanding of this is going to do. We thought at that time we will have a conference at Christiansborg in Copenhagen on this, but then Corona came and it went down the drain. Since the Russian attack, many larger and smaller organizations in Denmark are popping up. NGO peace initiatives are here. And we were hoping, well, you know, when someone starts thinking, where is the peace movement in Denmark? We say, we're here. We're just here. But of course, we in Fredsministerium, we support this, and I think everybody knows that we do. But wouldn't it have been crazy if everybody was joining the same organization trying to find their ways? So we are happy to tell you that in Denmark we have been able to establish what?
Umbrella organization?
Yes, you could say that, for peace. So, I'm happy that I have had this opportunity to talk to you about this, and on this, even though I would have liked to have a seminar so we could go into depth of what is the role of a ministry and how do we help each other to bring it about in our countries. So I will promise you that on Sunday, when we establish, I hope, this Northern Alliance, Fredsministerium will go into the, we will propose establishment of a working group on this, and of course put ourselves in the lead of it. So thank you very much for listening. And remember to read old books about resistance without violence. And can I please point to one of my inspirers, young boy who has written with other persons some of the most important book in Denmark on peaceful reconciliation. Thank you very much. Can I also point to some of the materials from Fredsministerium down there? There are some nice pictures of what we're doing and everything else. Thank you very much.